In this video, we're going to talk about how you can improve the interaction between team members in your company, in your department, in your team, or on your project. You will learn the forgotten or maybe not talked about very often steps to really creating a cohesive team. And we're going to answer what are the key behaviors that every team should have. And there's actually a sixth missing one that we're going to share with you in this video. What are the specific ways you can implement that missing piece? And what are some things that you can do to start fixing this tomorrow, really improving that interaction? So let's do this. Number one, we've talked about before, every team, every department, every construction project must have a multiplier leader, the behaviors of a team, and usually they're listed as 5, and a strenuous performance goal. We've already been through that in the other videos on this channel, which we can link you to in case you've forgotten. But in the middle, there are those 5 key behaviors. Great teams trust each other, and because they trust each other, they have healthy conflict. When they have healthy conflict, they can speak up and actually set goals together. When they set goals together, they can then hold each other accountable. When they hold each other accountable, that's when they perform. So those 5 are key. But I told you there's a missing one. The missing one is for you to trust your team. For people to trust each other, they have to know each other. There has to be rapport. People like people that are like them. People like people that they know. And most of the time, even with conflict with people that seem to not like each other, once you dig deeper, get down past the subsurface, you'll find things they have in common, and then that creates connection. It's absolutely magical. You know what would also create connection? Is if you liked this video and subscribed. Like that would, let's just model it right now. You're trying to increase interaction and like build teams. Let's do it right now, you and me. Let's build this team, you and me. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. You feel that? That's okay, we're on our way. So you're really connecting with the content in this video. So let me keep going. So I said the first one is that a team must know each other. So that sounds simple, but it is. Like, I'm sorry, it just is. So I'll give you an example. A couple of times in my career when I was a project director or a field director, the superintendent and the PM, or you might have a director and assistant director, different positions at different levels of the organization that didn't get along. And we got an opportunity to fix that. One of the best things was to ask them, or in some cases tell them, like, hey, you need to go to lunch every week. Don't be checking your phones. Don't take work. Don't talk about work. Go get to know each other. With few exceptions, meaning every now and then there's just 1 or 2 people that just hate each other. But for the most part, they would go learn about each other, connect, and really start to work on their interpersonal skills and their relationships and really form a good team. So that's one key technique that you can start using tomorrow to create better interactions and more connection. And I promised you we'd give you some tips and tricks like that. So pretty cool stuff. Let me give you a couple more. One of the big ones we've covered in another video, open office spaces. The more proximity you have, the better the team can function and the better your interactions. This is something that's so profound, I hope you don't discount it. We must have integrated visuals, integrated spaces, integrated communication systems, and any other aspect of teaming integrated, meaning together. So we want proximity, meaning we want to work together in open office spaces. That's one. We want integrated information and visuals, meaning can we as a team see the plan on the wall, right? That's 2. Number 3, we want integrated meetings and chats and WhatsApp chats and communication systems so that we can be integrating our communication. So you can notice on a project site, people don't have really good interactions when they're not together, number 1. When they don't see the plan together and can actually look at the plan together, number 2. And number 3, when they can't easily communicate with each other. In fact, I'll give you a story. We were out doing job walks with a really great company the other day, and as we went from job to job, the projects that had the integrated communication systems, visuals, and worked together, they had these huddle boards All of the information was there, and we were jamming. Like, there was nothing we couldn't analyze and assess about that project, and it was remarkable. And then you go to other teams where the huddle boards weren't as developed, not really a cohesive plan, not really integrated communication and visual systems. They didn't work together very often, very disconnected, and the conversations were very, I would just say basic. Like, they were just milquetoast conversations. And it was because they weren't together, they couldn't see together, and they couldn't communicate together. So if you want better interactions, you have to have better integration of your communication, your visuals, and your team. And so let me go ahead and summarize that if you want to have really great interactions as a project team, you'll make sure you have those key things, right? The multiplier leader, the behaviors of a team, and a strenuous performance goal. In order to get those 5 done, you'll remember the 6th, which is to get to know each other. And you'll remember that that happens through proximity and integration, meaning the team is together, they have an integrated plan, and they also have integrated communication systems. And so I'll tell you 2 brief stories. Are actually examples rather. But on a project that I was able to be a part of in Tucson, we were really focused on this concept of improving interactions. And we would go out and do team building exercises. Now, most of the time when people hear that, they're like, I'm not going to go waste my money doing this fluffy stuff. Well, when you go out camping, when you go out hiking, when you go do hard things, when you go do paintballing, when you go out to dinner, those are opportunities to get to know each other, which has a direct purpose and a direct tie to building trust, which enables all of the rest of the key behaviors on a team. Because how many of us have been on a team that didn't perform because they didn't hold each other accountable, because they didn't set goals and standards together, because they wouldn't speak up and have healthy conflict and hard conversations, all based on the fact that they didn't trust each other, and they didn't trust each other because they didn't know each other. So if having lunch together didn't work, if talking together didn't work, if hanging out together didn't work, if being in the same open office didn't work, if having really great planning visuals and being on the same page didn't work, and being on the same communication systems didn't work, I'm going to give you a fail-safe activity that you're going to love. This is from Patrick Lencioni. It's called the Personal Histories Exercise. And it's where you go around the team in a team meeting. By the way, if you want to increase interaction, you need to have remarkable team meetings. You go around the team meeting and you have somebody share 1 or 2 things, and you can do this multiple times, about their history. Something that's personal, something that would help others understand that person. And I'll share with you a story that the project manager shared with me that just melted my heart. I was so open to him after this. He was really tight when it came with money. Always wanted 3 quotes, very rarely wanted to buy things. It was hard to get things approved. And I was like, oh, this guy, I was so frustrated. And one time he went around the room and in tears, and you don't have to cry to do this, but he was in tears, said, I watched my parents struggle their whole lives, scraping and saving and trying to make it by owning their own business. And I remember the poverty and the struggle. And I don't want anything like that to ever happen to anyone on this team. That's why I always want 3 quotes. That's why I want a standard budget. That's why I'm protecting your bonuses. That's why I seem difficult. So I just want you to know it comes from a good place. And then for the rest of us who are a little bit annoyed at him over the past couple of months, like I said, our hearts melted. We're like, oh my gosh, I totally understand this person. It was absolutely a beautiful moment. And so if you really need a way to crack those tough situations, try that personal histories exercise. If you need to go deeper, do a personality assessment and a player card. Go down and take a couple of personality assessments and then do what we call a "This is me" questionnaire, which asks certain questions that somebody can answer to let other people know how they like to interact. One more brief story. I remember working with a PE that hated me. And one time it came out in his player card, in his "This is me" answer questionnaire, that he hated emails. He thought it was irresponsible delegation. I loved emails. I was sending it to him all the time. I went to his office after that. I said, how would you like me to communicate? You want me to come in? You want me to talk face to face? He was like, yeah, the emails really bother me. And this had been eating at him for a while. And so after that, we got pretty close. He and I really got close. But I didn't know this thing that was really upsetting him. And it was a way that we would learn each other, our styles, and really start to create that connection and have better interactions. And so I'm going to link some specific tools for you in the description below. Number one, the book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And I'm also going to link you to some of these other checklists of things that you can do tomorrow to build connection and improve your interactions as a project team. You're going to want to implement that because people on a project site are our biggest asset. They're awesome, but it's also the largest source of our trauma and our heartache if we don't get along and we don't have positive interactions. I promise you it's possible. Check out that information below. You're gonna love it. On we go.